I spent the last couple of days deciding whether or not I should actually record this video, and ultimately I decided to do so because I believe the reason that many of you have watched me in the past or are currently watching me, and the reason my channel got to the size it got to, is because I've always been honest in any of the games I've covered, most notably Grounded. I don't sugarcoat things. I'm pretty straightforward and pretty blunt. Sometimes I go a little bit too far. Sometimes I've been a little bit too harsh, but ultimately it was trying to push the game to be the best that it could possibly be. So you're probably looking at the title of this video and thinking, I'm going to come in here and just fully crap on the Fully Yoked update, and that's not the case. Everything I've seen so far looks pretty decent. The only thing that I've seen that looks a little bit out of line and might need to be some rebalanced a little bit would be some of the modifiers on the infused bugs. Now, when I say seen, the reason I'm saying that is I'm going to be fully transparent. I've not played any of the New Game Plus content. You'll probably notice I haven't done any videos on this, and this is surely to the detriment of my channel. If I made videos on this update, more videos on this update, and if I streamed it to probably getting hundreds of viewers, getting tens of thousands of views on videos, it'll be beneficial to my channel. I'm not doing it for two reasons. Number one, I'm not going to play something that I know that I'm not going to enjoy. I know myself, I don't really enjoy New Game Plus in games. I've tried it before. I don't really enjoy it. And from watching people play it, I've seen some people that never get frustrated with some of the things that have been happening. So what I decided was I'm just going to wait until down the line a little bit. I'll check it out at some point in the future. And once things have been balanced out, maybe there's been some rebalancing and things like that, then I'll check it out. And of course, I have tons of other games I'm playing right now, so I'll get to it at some point in the future. But I just wanted to be straight up front and talk about that. That's why I'm not going to be talking about anything specifically here, like this number should be changed to that, or this thing should be changed to this. I want to really talk about all the new content that was added, and how I think it could have been, I guess, done a little bit differently, and perhaps in the future, if it's ever applicable, could be, I guess this feedback could be taken into account for that. So first up, let's just quickly take a look at the new stuff that's been added. I'm sure most of you already know this. I already did a video on this. Other people have done videos on this, but I want to briefly just touch upon the new things that have been added. So the ant queens were added, and they were added to the base game. So there's 3 ant queens, 1 for each ant colony. There's also new ant baby pets you can have, 1 for each colony. And there's ant-related building pieces. I think there's 12 of those. There's also, I think, an armor set for each of the ant queens. And I think there's at least 1 ant queen weapon. That's all in the base game. Everything else, to my knowledge, there might be 1 or 2 things here or there, but everything else, to my knowledge, has been added to New Game Plus. So the infused creatures, the new trinkets, of which there's, I don't even know how many because there's so many different combinations you can have. Each New Game Plus seems to add a new modifier to the trinkets or the badges and the trinkets and stuff like that. So you might be able to get 2 or 3 or more bonus modifiers on them. Yoking station, which allows you to upgrade your gear past level 9. So 10, I believe it goes up to 15 is the max, is in New Game Plus. There's new milk mullers in each of the New Game Pluses that let you scale your stats up higher. There's new additions to the Burgle Swap Shop. I believe there's rugs and maybe some other things you can purchase. And then there's other things like loot chests and different types of candy that are sprinkled around the map. So those are the new things that were added. And you'll notice here that most of the stuff was added in New Game Plus. And specifically, I want to talk about the weapons real quick. And so from what my count, there was 32 new weapons added to the game in this update. And the way they're scattered about is there's 4 that are currently available in the base game. There's 8 that can be accessed in New Game Plus 1. Now, some of those are predicated upon doing a specific thing with the ant queens in your base game before you go to it. So some of them might not be able to unlock until further New Game Plus, but theoretically you could unlock 8 things in New Game Plus 1. There's 4 more that are locked behind New Game Plus 2, 5 more that are locked behind New Game Plus 3, and 11, all the tier 4 weapons, 11 of them are added behind New Game Plus 4. So in total, 1/3 of the stuff is behind New Game Plus 4, and 67% or 2/3 of the stuff is locked behind New Game Plus 2 or more. So why is that an issue, and how would I have done it differently? To illustrate my reasoning for this real quick, I want to quickly take a look at both the Xbox player base as well as the Steam player base. And what I want to do is take a look at the achievement completion rates here. And the reason I'm looking at these is these are 100% like applicable towards getting New Game Plus. So to get the New Game Plus, the criteria are complete the Java-matic, defeat the Brood Mother, the Mantis, and the Wasp Queen. If we look at the Xbox achievement rates, and I'll look at the Steam briefly in a second, only 1.32% of players have gone big, which means they've completed the Java-matic and gone big. I guess maybe there's a couple people that did the Java-matic and never got big. I don't know why you would do that, but it's only 1.3% roughly. Going over here to the secret achievement here of 0.79%, that's Kill the Wasp Queen. So as of right now, of the Xbox player base, and I guess the PC and Game Pass player base, only 0.8% or 0.8% of players could even access the New Game Plus. Now, if we go up here and look at the new achievements, first up is going to be the one right here, which is 0.9%, and that's going to be, did I do that? That's the remixer. So only 0.09% or less than 1/10 of 1% of players on Xbox have actually accessed New Game Plus. And then go over here to 0.02%. 0.02% or 0.2% of players have accessed a New Game Plus 1. Now, you might be saying, well, the update's only been out for a week or so as I'm recording this, and I agree with you that obviously these numbers are going to go up a little bit. The problem is they're only going to go up a little bit. So let me look at the Steam numbers real quick to just show you the numbers on there. They are slightly better, but they're not much better. Looking at the Steam numbers, 4.3% of players on Steam have completed the game, and 2.5% have killed the Wasp Queen. So theoretically, 2.5% of Steam players could log in right now, boot up the game, and jump right into New Game Plus. Better than the Xbox numbers, but still not that great. We go down here and actually look at the achievement rates. Only 0.1% or 0.1% of players on Steam have accessed New Game Plus, and it says 0% for have actually accessed New Game Plus 1 here. This is probably not, you know, it's not 0 because I know people that have done it, but it's such a small number that's not even 0.1%. So why is this an issue, and what would I have done about this? The biggest issue I think I have with this is the developers clearly spent a lot of time, put a lot of hours into this update over the last couple of months, maybe longer. The infused creatures, the new trinkets, testing out all the different modifiers, all the new weapons, the artwork for them, the various stats on them, the new candies and stuff like that, randomizing the yard for the different New Game Pluses. All these things took countless hours over the last several months. The developers clearly put a lot of time and effort into this update, and it shows. The reason I think this is, I guess the sad part of this is very few people are going to see this. And I guess a good analogy to use for this would be, imagine if you were a painter and you painted a masterpiece. Where would you want that painting to be displayed? Probably in a famous museum, in the showcase, right in front and center, where as many people that could possibly see it could see it. I would equate this Grounded update with being a masterpiece painting, but instead of putting it in the showcase up front where the most people could possibly see it, it's hidden down a dark set of hallways that are like winding. It's not just one dark hallway, multiple dark turns and corners and all the way back in this little corner. And it's just sitting back there where almost no one's going to wander off the beaten path to find it. And it's unfortunate because from what I've seen, a lot of this stuff in this update looks cool and I definitely want to check it out in the future. But right now, most people are just not going to see it. So kind of I guess to wrap it up, what would I have done differently for this? My feedback on this is I think everything that was added looks pretty good. There's some balancing that could probably be done on some of the modifiers for the infused creatures, but everything looks pretty cool. I like the new weapon designs. I like the new candies. I like all that kind of new stuff. They look pretty cool. But if in the future there's ever a sequel to Grounded or a prequel or maybe another game, or maybe obviously the developers will work on different games in the future, I would just encourage you guys to put as much stuff in the base game as possible, and then just kind of build upon that if you're going to do New Game Plus, just so the most amount of eyes can, or most amount of people, most amount of eyes can see the things, most amount of people can experience the stuff you worked on. Because it's just a shame when you work on stuff and you put a lot of time and effort into it, and only a small handful of people will ever be able to experience it. So those are my thoughts on the Fully Yoked update for Grounded. Let me know in the comments down below if you've experienced New Game Plus, what level you've got to in the New Game Plus. Whether you agree or disagree with me, I'd love to hear your feedback on it. While you're down there, make sure to hit the like button. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.